Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. This is the Sunday Night Cop. I'm Gavin, I'm joined by Keith, and I'm joined by Emmet. And we're back again talking about Liverpool getting fucking beaten. We had an international break. We were like, oh, it's great, yeah, we'd be back and we'd be fucking flying. Then there was players injured, and then we just went in. We were fucking atrocious yesterday against Nottingham Forest. All credit to them, by the way. Any Forest fans watching, all credit to them. They played really well. They done their job and they won the game. Look, we've lots to get through. There's loads of people commenting on the players and the performance and the manager and the future of players and manager, etc., etc. We're going to do all of that in the next hour or so. And just to let you know, our backup plan is if we get really pissed off talking about this, we're going to talk about cola flavoured Mentos. That's
just
our
go
fallback.
straight to the cola flavoured Mentos is my call on this.
So anyway, look, we go through it bit by bit. Keith, we're not going to go through every moment of the game. In fairness, the guys done the watch along on Patreon, by the way. Fair play to them for doing that. And they done the post match reaction straight afterwards. Chris, Kev, and Ashley. So they've done all the ins and outs of it. We have a more of a broader look at it. And Keith, I'm just going to start with performance. I think it's one of the worst I've seen in a long time. Not only from this manager, from fucking previous manager. I thought we were dreadful. I thought the first 20 we were okay. And then once we went to goal down, our heads completely went. Players, manager, crowd, everything seemed to go when we went 1-0 down. And it just went from bad to worse. And it was abysmal. I'm not going to lie. I think it was abysmal.
Yeah, I thought we were okay up until they scored. I thought we looked, the better team, the progressive team. We were doing all the attacking. But this team has shown a fragility this season. They've shown a weakness, a mental weakness. And going to go behind now is an absolute nail in the coffin. Whereas in previous seasons, we've seen them come back from going 1-0 down. Now it just looks like they don't have the spirit, the gumption, the guile to get back into games. And there's a lot of factors to that. But at the moment, the team is broken. The manager looks broken. And, I don't want to get too down on it, to be honest, Gav, but it's abysmal at the moment. But, we can blame Slot for his selections and his use of the squad. And we can blame the players for what they're doing on the pitch. It's a collective thing, do you know what I mean? And I don't know how they fix it, because I'm sick of hearing about how they're going to fix it. Virgil came out and was quite scathing. And it sounds like the tone is that the players are getting pissed off for it. But look, it's a really difficult period for anybody to be going through. And I switch off a lot from the online stuff around it, because some of the reactions is, I wouldn't say over the top. People entitled their opinions. If people want slot out, they can have slot out, whatever. But I hate looking at online stuff and saying this in the irony that we will be online. But I hate the hyperbole and the shouting for attention and clicks nonsense. It's really difficult to try and be balanced at this time. It's really difficult to, try and put a positive spin, because there's no positive spin we can put on it. The season is unraveling. And it never really started, because even in the first few games when we were winning, we weren't playing well. And we said on this show, it'll come good. We're getting the results. It's important that we're getting the wins, even when we're not playing well. Well, now we're not getting the results. We're not getting the wins. There's a huge, huge problem within the squad. And the one thing, and I'm going to go back to it because people are afraid to say it, Andy Robertson's reaction after that Scotland game the other night tells you all you need to know about some of those players' mentality at the moment. And what he said about Diogo Jota's passing and how it affected him and how he couldn't think of anything else on the day of that Scotland game. Them players, whether we like it or not, whether people like to admit it or not, whether people want to say it's an excuse or not, are going through something that hasn't really been seen in top-level football in a long, long time. And I think it's too easy to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's not good enough. Jesus Christ, it's not good enough. Like I said, the players don't look like they have ideas. Slot doesn't look like he has ideas. do you want to be reactionary, or do you have to just try and say, look, it's gone to shite, we just have to try and regroup and get through wherever we get through? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but there's changes have to be made in that squad. Sharpish.
Changes, yeah. O'Shane says, Gav's text Shawnee to come on here, categorically deny any falling out. Yeah, someone asked us earlier, have you had a falling out with Shawnee? No.
That was
Shawnee,
Brian O'Sullivan winding fucking
no,
people
it wasn't.
up.
It wasn't
merci.
Brian. It was somebody else. It was somebody else asked us. I'll tell you who it was now, just so we don't, be like Emmet and just accuse someone of something. It was Willie May hyphen C1Q. Which why are all the YouTube usernames gone absolutely mad?
I know, yeah.
But no is the answer, Willie. I'll answer you because you asked the question. No, Shawnee has moved to a different country. His better half is due to have a baby. Okay, and I think he's entitled to tell us to fuck off for a while. That's basically
the least
right?
important thing to be worried about.
Yeah. I know you're all calling for him, but when Shawnee's back, he'll be back. All right, he's a lot going on. It's all good.
Can I just say, right? You explain that every time.
Yeah.
And tomorrow there will be comments underneath this video saying, Liverpool lose and now Shawnee.
Yeah.
They're the best, aren't they?
Yeah. Like Shawnee goes, Liverpool lost, I'm not coming on. Like, it's fucking mad. Like, if the funny thing is, right, if Shawnee said to us 1 week, Liverpool have to lose, I'm not coming on, right, they're to losing, he would get absolutely slammed for about fucking a month solid. But there you go. He'd be spitting feathers. I can't even say the names anymore. The names are mad. Shawnee's not impressed. Judging by the conversations we've had in private. But Ricky says here, I'm not a reactionary fan, but it's difficult to defend his performances. The passing of Jota is a big factor, but it's one of many factors. Listen, I couldn't agree more with that, right? I wanted to go on the performance, but let's just go where it goes and let's take comments and react to them, right? Because we could try put this in, we could try structure this in some way, but people are just throwing out what they want us to do. So let's go with that, right? My thing on this is that I'm going back to the start of the season. I said it at the very start of the season. This season could go either way. We could absolutely fly, or we could fall on our arse. And if we fall on our arse, so be it, right? And that's the way it's going. I think you're looking at a really fragile squad of players. That's what I think you're looking at. I think we won the first 5 games, and everybody was saying, look, we're not playing well, but we're getting wins. Look, that might build a bit of confidence, might harden them up a bit, and we'll go from there and see if we can build on it. We haven't, right? It was a big thing during the week when Andy Robertson couldn't get out of a hotel room. Like, genuinely, he was struggling in a hotel room, hours before he could qualify, and did qualify for a World Cup with Scotland. So, for me, that is a massive factor. You have to take that into consideration. You're looking at players now that are so mentally fragile. They go a goal down, the decision goes against them. A pass doesn't come off, and it just seems to be like it takes an awful lot of them to get to a certain high level, but it only takes something small just to trigger them. And look, some or most of that is acceptable, but some of it isn't. And Virgil van Dijk's come out constantly and said, look, we need to keep going, and I'd say he's probably banging his head against the wall, and someone that's grieving himself. He's trying to do something while being part of the group. He's trying to fix a group that he's part of while trying to be the leader of that, and it's tough, and I don't think we can underplay that at all, right? And people will tell you it's excuses. It's not. The only thing I would say on it is, and Emma, I'll come to you on it. My thing on this is, I think you have players that I don't want to say they're feeling sorry for themselves, because I think that's a horrible way to put it. But I feel like I'd love to see them react just a little bit more. Even if they went a bit mad and some got a mad red, you go, you know what, that's just the head's gone. But it seems to be gone very tame. And I think the manager is managing himself out of a job.
You could do with Darwin, couldn't you?
I genuinely think the manager is managing himself out of a job, right? Honestly, and listen, I think he's a football manager first and foremost, but I could genuinely see him going into the Axe every day and trying to look at every single player there going, how is he actually today? How is he today? I literally looking at them in a mental state, day on day. And yeah, he's picking an awful lot of the same players, and you're kind of going, they're not playing well. But we don't know what way the others are feeling. It's a very, very difficult situation. But I genuinely do think, and I wouldn't sack him. I'll put up there. I won't have a word said against any of them. That I'm overall, right? But I do think some of the decisions he's making, I think he'll manage himself out of a job because he's not changing anything. And he's not putting... He should really, Emmet should be putting a security blanket under this team going, right, you know what, we're not conceding. That's it. We're not conceding. And then if we score a goal, great. But if we don't, we're not conceding a goal. That's it. And I just think he's going the other way. He's trying to be gung-ho. And he's making mad decisions from the start. And he's making mad decisions sub-wise. And it just... Sometimes I feel like he's not even picking on ability or form. I think he's picking on how people are in their own head.
Are we going gung-ho?
Well, we're given the impression we're going to go gung-ho.
No, I just... It's horrible to think that we've probably become a first goal team. And that is... If that chance goes in from McAllister yesterday, it's not cleared off the line, you'd probably see a completely different game. And I'm not doing all if, buts, maybes, whatever, but I think, and Keith touched on it, when we concede, we just seem to absolutely crumble. Now, you're playing Isak, and I think his hand is forced in playing Isak because I don't think Isak plays any minutes for Sweden in the international break. So if he's not playing any minutes in the international break, how is he getting Isak fit? And everybody can say, "Oh, sure, he's fucking training since August." There's fit, and then there's match fit, and you don't get match fit without playing matches. And I think he's forced into a decision to play Isak, and I think that's probably one of his first mistakes. His second mistake, which compounds his first mistake, is he plays arguably probably the more creative player, the best player of our season so far, Szoboszlai, at right back. So you've now got a player, Isak, who's not Ekitike and will drop in and play. He wants you to slide the ball through for him. He plays on the shoulder. Who's playing that ball? Because we don't have Wirtz either. So you've no Wirtz, you've no Szoboszlai to provide for for Isak up front, and yet he starts Isak. If he was gonna put Szoboszlai, and I think we all probably thought he would, if we're gonna put Szoboszlai at right back, well then Ekitike probably needs to start yesterday. I just think his decision making and substitutions, and he's taken, like, I'm sure we'll get onto it, but I want to talk about Konate as well. I think Slot looked extremely nervous sitting on the bench at a couple of stages yesterday when it went to the bench, to the point where I kind of thought, oh, it's like what you're saying, not that he's trying to get sacked, but it's like he kind of nearly knows something's not right, or he knows the writing's on the wall somewhere. Maybe. You mentioned as well that Van Dijk is coming out and saying we all have to stick together and we need to do this and we need to do that. That completely fucking changed yesterday as well, where he was calling players, was it greedy, selfish, like not press, like, and you're like, whoa, hang on a second, like. Then you've got Konate when he's getting subbed off is smiling and laughing when he's running off. But to me, this fucker doesn't now have a clue what he's doing.
Yeah, I think Konate. Well, I don't think Konate was laughing at the fact of this is funny. I think Konate's voice smile was kind of, every time something goes wrong, I'm the one getting hooked here. You know, I'm the centre half getting hooked. And listen, we can all go on about Konate and people have said he's being poor, like, but there's loads of them being poor.
No, but there's
I'm with you on the positional thing. Just go and put a right back there. Just go and take Calvin Ramsey and stick him right back.
You've got Gomez.
No, you don't have Gomez because, listen, I'll tell you, you don't have Gomez. He's refusing to play him.
No, I'm saying
on the fourth day. Hold on, on the fourth day of the season, he brings Endo on, right? Okay, and Endo comes in midfield, ends up nearly right back, right? And then Gomez comes on, and Gomez goes to right back, and you haven't seen him since, right? And bar League Cup stuff. Just go and say, listen, I don't have that right back. I don't have that right back. Have I got a right back? Yeah, you're in. And you see, in my head, I think he thinks if I just keep picking these top players, something will happen. Do you know what I mean? But they look so afraid to lose the ball. Because
you can't put Marmardashvili in goal and stick Alisson up front. You need to play players in their positions. Like, and I get that Jones isn't the right back, but he's played right back before, and he's going to create a hell of a lot less than what Szoboszlai does. And Szoboszlai will cover a hell of a lot more ground then. And I'm not digging Jones out here. I really like Jones. I think he's come on leaps and bounds over the last couple of years. But arguably the call yesterday is Jones at right back and Szoboszlai in midfield.
No, we need to
No,
stop
I'm
doing
saying
this.
from what? No, I know we need
If
to
you're
stop. I'm
going with a
talking about
midfielder,
if you're going with one of those people that you start
yeah,
yesterday at right back, it should have been Jones and leave Szoboszlai where he is because you need him to provide for Isak.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It should be Ramsey. It should be Endo. It should be fucking. I'm gonna say Gomez again, and you're gonna say no. But he is a fuck. He
I
can play
would do
right back.
Gomez, and I don't like Gomez at right back because he's played
Yeah.
there. But my thing on this is that he doesn't play him. Like Ashley says, Gav, why doesn't he play him? I don't know. Gomez hasn't been in ever since Gomez was due to leave the club before we played Ipswich at the start of last season. Gomez hasn't been in favour. Full stop. And you would nearly argue, why didn't he? Like I genuinely think if he signs Guehi in January, you don't even see Joe Gomez, right? But at the same time, when he's going out here and he's saying, like, any team going out to play against Liverpool now are going, Szoboszlai is a wonderful footballer, right? Jones is a really good footballer, but they're not right backs. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to play to my strength and play against this right back. At least if you put a right back there in Ramsey, okay, he's had injuries, he's been out on loans, they haven't been great, he's come back. He was quite good in the League Cup, I thought, when he played, but just play him. And the thing is, like, I don't mean this to be bad, right? But if you're picking players and you're worried about their mental state and how fragile they are, Calvin Ramsey wouldn't have been around that whole stuff as much as the rest of them. So he's probably more of a good bet to put in there. Then you've Szoboszlai going, I'm running around having a great time here for Liverpool. I'm playing really fucking well. And you stick me at right back. Do you know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. So is there like is there? And I don't want to say he's lost the dressing room, but has he lost the confidence of some of the players? And that's where I'm talking about the Konate smiling and laughing.
I think,
right? I'm not suggesting for 1 second that he's off in Madrid, his head is off in Madrid, right? Because Konate has been bad, but don't get me wrong, Van Dijk has been terrible as well. And I think that this all comes from we're too eager to get forward, we're not moving forward quick enough, and then we're not retreating quick enough. And more often than not, when a team breaks, if you watch a match, we're a back two in Konate and Van Dijk. They're being expected to play 4 positions, and we're not getting back around quick enough.
Yeah, I think anything
that's
for
where
grabs.
More pressure, more mistakes, or sorry, that's what it is. It's not that Konate has fallen off a cliff. He's under far too much more pressure, which means he's making far more mistakes. He had a rick in him every now and again. Don't get me wrong, but did Van Dijk? I don't think so. But you've seen it out of him this year, and that's what it is. It's like we're committing far too many people forward. And you said this a couple of weeks ago, Gav. If that's going to happen, well, then Gravenberch has to stay back. But he's up on the edge of the box as well. Like I'm looking at some of the goals.
We're committing players forward, and it's all lethargic.
But for nothing.
Yeah, it's if you're going to commit players forward, go and commit. But we're not.
Yeah.
We're just tapping the fucking thing around, and then I think we're tapping it around because we're thinking we put this in the box and we fucking lose it. We're that fucking fragile at the minute in all time in physicality, running power, defending wherever it might be that we're going to get caught here. Next level says Slot as a Dutch Brendan Rodgers tactically pouring an absolute spoofer. I'm not having that. Because you weren't saying that last season when he was fucking pulling the league apart and doing interviews after games and telling you how he was beating this team and that team and everyone was lauding him. And now he has a bad time. And
didn't do it based the usual sheet, that was Klopp's squad.
But he's not
made tweaks and changes to that squad.
But
and
he's not above criticism though, right?
Absolutely.
He's not above criticism. My thing here is that when you look at Slot, I think he's trying to manage a football team. If I was trying to defend him, I'd say he's trying to manage a football team, and I think he's trying to manage a group of players, both in a footballing sense and a personal sense, right? And he's trying to get the scales as level as he can week on week, and it's just not working. And listen, if you got him behind closed doors and said to him, why are you picking that same team? You go, because they're the fucking 11 strongest in the head. The rest of them, they're not there. They're not there. They're simply not there. So I have to keep doing it. But at the same time, I don't know if he can even make that argument because he's putting all these players on the pitch. When we go goal down, he's taking a centre back off and he's putting this fella on, he's putting that fella, Chiesa's on, Engamo is on, this fella's on, that and you're like, there's just no rhyme, no reason to this. This is just throw them on now and hope something happens. Like we should have just kept the ball yesterday when we went 1 down. Keep it and keep moving and keep probing. and show Forrest that, yeah, we'll play, but if we lose, we're going to get it back and then we're going to keep playing. And Forrest will drop back in. But
the
I
real
think
sub is when you're managing the team, and Keith, I think you've managed teams as well, and you have the one kid maybe that's doesn't really cut the mustard, and you go 3 or 4 up, or you go 3 or 4 down, and you go, right, you go on there. Now, I'm not saying that Rio doesn't cut the mustard, but I just don't think he should be. They're not proper minutes for Rio, and I'm a bit disappointed that he keeps popping him on. What, you're popping him on at 3-0 down with 10 minutes to play?
That stage, was it?
Like, it's like
next level says, Gav, he is, stop talking rubbish. No, you're talking rubbish. We can do this all night if you want. What I'm saying is, you're telling me he's only this and he's only that. You were not saying that at the start of the season. You were not saying it. I fucking guarantee you weren't saying it. You just weren't, right? And I'll say it again, just in case you can't fucking read it properly, or you can't listen to me properly. I'm not saying he's not above criticism. He is. He is. He's not. Sorry, he is not above criticism. He's there to be shot at. But like, can we not, like, at some stage say, why is this happening? It just seems to me, no, if he's fucking brutal, get him out. There's so much more to it. Like, I'll put this question to you. Sack him in the morning. Now, you better bring in a manager that can manage a football team and manage this squad in what it's going through. Because that's what you have to be there for. That's what you have to be there for. And no matter what manager you get, they're going to walk in that tomorrow and go, fuck me, this place is all over the place. Right? And I don't mean in the sense that they're not together. I don't mean in the sense that they don't have the quality. I don't even mean in the sense that they haven't got it in them to turn this around. But that is a massive job that people, not just Aaron Slaughter's trying to do, I would say the whole club is trying to do with everybody. Everybody at the club, by the way. Whether it's players or backroom staff or staff in the access, staff at the stadium, wherever it might be. All I'm saying is, you have to give them some leeway. But in a tactical sense, right, I think it's very hard to completely look into it and go, I'm going to make that definite assumption on that fella. Because that's what you know what I mean? Because, look, I'll put it this way. If Jota was still here, right, and we had bought these players, right, even if we bought all these players and Jota was still here and this was going on, I'd be going, whoa, hold on a fucking minute. But there is mitigating circumstances. They're deep mitigating circumstances. They're not excuses, but it doesn't give them an absolute free pass. But it has to give them something where you go, right, what, do we give them time to get out of it? Do we give the players time to get over? If you bring someone new in, is that new fella going to come in and go, I'm going to get rid of all the grief in this club with one fell swoop? It's not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen. But I do think he's managing himself out of a job because nothing seems to be changing and nothing seems to be, this is our plan. And I don't care how boring or straightforward it is. Keith, there doesn't seem to be a plan.
No.
First 25 minutes looked like there was a good plan yesterday. We were good, but then it just seems to go. And maybe he's trying to fucking, juggle plates on the sideline because, I know his head's gone now. I know his head's going to be gone now. He's missed a chance. I know he's going to be gone now. I think it's very fucking hard to assess.
Yeah, look, we can only guess and, give our opinions on what we think will be going wrong. Arne Slot might not be having to manage, as you said, a team who are grieving as well as, the club and the fan base and all this. And he might just be a dud, right? We don't know that. I assume he's not. I assume he's a good coach and he is suffering as well with the players, right? Because, Jota, he was a big fan of Jota as a player. He loses him under them circumstances. He may be managing himself out of a job because other managers have got sacked for less, as I'm saying in the chat. But he did win a league last season. And again, I'll keep coming back to that. He won a league last season. He's trying to implement too many players into the squad. Was that his decision? Was it Richard Hughes? I don't know. We've got players that look like square pegs in round holes. Like we've 120 million Alexander Isak and... we're giving them no service. We play with Mo Salah and Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah cutting in and shooting all the time. I think Emmet touched on it earlier. There's no guile, there's no through balls, there's nothing for him to run onto. He's an on-the-shoulder, number 9 type of player, and he's getting 14 touches in a fucking match. If he's not ready yet, you put him on the bench, you play Ekitike. These are things that Slot does have to take responsibility for. Mo Salah, I've said it a few times, he looks like he's aged 10 years this season. And I mean physically, in his face and in his play, he looks a different player. He fell off a cliff last season at the second half of the season because he ran through walls the first half of it. But he looks different now. So these players, they're struggling, in my opinion. It's McAllister, it's Konate, it's Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk to an extent, Robbo. These are all there last season. Do you know what I mean? Like, the new players are getting the stick because we paid 120 million for Isaac, we paid 115 million for Wirtz or whatever it was. Kerkez gets the stick. You know, we've integrated a whole 6-7 players into that squad. Mamardashvili has played an awful lot that you wouldn't have expected to play. And it's easy to blame, the players, but Salah has to take the responsibility on, Mo Salah. I've said it 100 times. He needs to be dropped or he needs to be taken off in games when he is having stinkers. And he's not doing that. And to me, that's on Slot. Now, if Mo Salah is struggling and he feels, and again, this is just guessing, so I'm not saying this is true, but let's say, for example, Mo Salah is really struggling with the death of Diogo Jota. And he's doing it in games, and Slot sees this 6 days or 5 days a week on the training pitch, and he wants to try and play him back in. It's not working. Give Mo Salah a month off then. He's gone off to the AFCON. Give him time off if he needs time off, because what we're seeing on the pitch is, I would say, one of the worst forwards in the league this season. And that's hyperbole. I don't like hyperbole, but he doesn't look like the player we're used to seeing. I was at the Villa game a few weeks ago, thank fuck, the only game we've won. But he looked like he was on his way back to being his best in that game. And then he played in the Champions League, and he looked like this is the turning point for Mo Salah. But again, it was just a flash in the pan. But Slot doesn't take Mo Salah off. Is he afraid to take Mo Salah off? I don't know. Is he afraid to make decisions? Shawnee Lawson says it in our WhatsApp. Oh, sorry, he who shall not be named because he's now banished from the show. The falling out fella. He says it in the chat.
Call him Shondamort.
Yeah, Shondamort, exactly. But Shawnee says it all the time, like, Slot switching back to a 4-3-3 was a death knell for him, because it was like he had these new players. It looked like he was going to change the system, and he shit the bed and went back to a system that he felt would work, but it doesn't suit the players we have. It's bad by Slot. No one's giving Slot a free pass, and saying, oh no, he has to stay. We could lose the next 20 and he has to stay. We're not saying that, but he has got circumstances that I think are very, very hard to quantify and put blame totally on him. But he has to change it. It's up to him. And can he change it, and will he change it, is the question. I don't know, right? And I think this is what will make or break Arne Slot, because will he be able to fix this? It's going to take big decisions, big moves. Does he have that in him? Will he do it? I don't know. But I think Arne Slot, I hear what you're saying about him sort of playing his way into getting sacked, but he's still got a bit of trust and faith in some of the fan base that he can turn it around, including me. I think he can turn around, but we have to start seeing it. We have to see big decisions coming. We have to see, Joe Gomez, I just said, Joe Gomez should be playing either centre-back or right-back in this team at the moment, and he's playing in none of them. And if he talks about him, he couldn't train all week, why is he on the bench? Do you know what I mean? Because he's on the bench every fucking week, and we're not using him. And look, I'm a big Ibrahim Konate fan. He is absolute stinking at the moment. The right back situation, we cannot have Szoboszlai playing at right back because he is too important in the centre of the midfield. Yeah. And we have no control in there. In the games that we've been winning recently, Villa, Madrid and that, he's pressing, he's nearly a fourth attacker, Szoboszlai. He's pressing in a front line with the other three, and we're putting teams under pressure and we're winning the ball back. Can't get that from right back. He'll run, he'll press, but we're expecting him to do too much. We're expecting him. People say Trent used to run games from right back. Yeah, by passing it. We're expecting Szoboszlai to do that by fucking running, by pressing up the other end of the pitch. It's madness. And these are the decisions that Slot has to be held accountable for. It's up to him to fix it. It's up to him to change. If he can do it, I don't know. But I think they're going to have to do something in January with a defender. They had the 1st of January, there has to be a defender in the door, because we cannot continue with this, because we are too fragile. We're too easy to beat. We've no confidence. We don't have a midfield that's going to shore up our defence, so it's going to be on the defenders. We have defenders there who look like they're broken. We need to get somebody. Mark Wahey, will he come to Liverpool now? Who knows? Do you know what I mean? Who knows? We need a defender in the door on the 1st of January because at the moment, we're only going one way and it's not the right way.
And look, someone does say there you can't sack all the players. I do get that. See all this stuff about, it's been like this since March before Jota died and all this. Look, listen, let me just run you through what Liverpool done, right?
Yeah.
From March, because I looked it up, right? So on the 23rd of February, they beat Man City away 2-0. On the 26th of February, they beat Newcastle 2-0. They go away and win on the 5th of March in PSG. They win at home on the 8th of March, 3-1 against Southampton. They go out on penalties to PSG and they lose the League Cup final. That was a bad week, I'm not going to lie. Beat Everton, lost to Fulham, weren't great. Beat West Ham, beat Leicester, beat Spurs, champions, right? And then they decided we don't really give a bollocks after that, right? And let me tell you, people turning around going, well, they should have kept the standards up. You watch all the teams that win leagues with 4 and 5 to go. They don't fucking care, right? They don't care. They put out a load of players. They get players in to get the medals. They do all this. So all this nonsense of counting these defeats afterwards, please stop, right? Yeah. You're better than that. You're absolutely better than that, right? We've all said since the start of the season the performances haven't been great. We were winning games. We're like, fuck, we're winning games, Jesus, but we need to get better, and we did need to get better, right? And we were all kind of, me anyway, I know I was looking at, we're winning games, but we look a bit fucking, are these players over this? Probably not. Are they just hanging in there? Probably. Like Salah, I was at Anfield. I stood and watched Salah after that game, and I was like, that man is fucked, right? He looked, and even during the game after, look, that's the way he looked to me, right? But all I'm asking for is that we can sit down here and we can say to ourselves, have his decisions been good? No. But why is he making these decisions? Why is he making them? And it's not just a footballing sense. It's not a talent. It's not form. There's more to it than that. There's more to it. It's way deeper than most things we talk about. Like, genuinely, we talk about football and we go, we make jokes and we laugh and we go, oh, remember he done that and that was fucking terrible. This is way deeper. We're not qualified to speak about it. I'm going to be honest with you. We're 3 lads talking about football. We're genuinely not qualified to speak about it because we don't know the ins and outs. And this is why I will always give the players and the manager a lot of leeway, right? But at the same time, when I look at that, and I said it at the start of the show, it was abysmal. And the reason for me it's abysmal is I can understand if you're creaky around, I suppose confidence and different things. I can understand that, but I can't really get past they're not chasing that, and they're not sticking their foot in there, and they're not in the right position. And I'd feel sorry for Liverpool if they lost 1-0 there. They battered Forest. The goalkeeper has a brilliant game. A deflected goal goes in against you. Goes, that's fucking cruel. They've done everything they can there. The sort of way. But some of the things I just can't get past, right? And you just look at them in that realm of decisions players are making during games. But I'm still struggling to go, but I'm absolutely going to nail this prick because of it. Because I don't know the 100% the ins and outs of it. And genuinely, listen, it doesn't matter what I think. They could sack Slot tomorrow, and as someone said in the chat, he could walk. He could say, right, listen, I'm not doing it. It's not good enough. I'm going to resign, whatever. The person that comes in next will not just run a wand over this. I've seen Cesc Fabregas' name being mentioned. I've been all sorts of now. I've nothing against Cesc Fabregas or anybody else that thinks they want to be a manager of Liverpool. Right? Well, I probably do against a few people that want to be manager of Liverpool. But at the same time, they're not walking in and just going, abracadabra, boom, and everything's fixed. They're actually coming in a worse off state than Slot because they're coming in not knowing these players, not gone through it, can't probably relate to it. Do you know that sort of way? So I understand people's frustrations, and I understand people saying, like Yus says, Gav, does Slot inspire you? When you hear him talk, do you believe in him? I get nothing from him. Yeah, but just last season when he was standing there cool as fuck, we were all going, look at him. Cool as fuck. He's pulling this apart. He's pulling that up. Tactically brilliant. I love me so smooth. And we didn't want him to be all action Klopp. We wanted him to be something different. And when he wants that something different, we did. We loved it. And now when he's trying to hold the same demeanour and trying to keep something together, we're getting nothing from him. Do you know what I mean? Like we're probably getting more out of Slot this season in a personal sense than we did last season for what he's doing behind the scenes. But I will caveat that again with the decisions he's making are doing him and the players no favours. That's where I think he are.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I don't want to go in heavy, but it's basics. Like 2 of the goals yesterday, arguably the 3 of them, were all ball watching. I've said this a couple of weeks ago when we were conceding other goals. We all get drawn towards the ball. And if you look at the second goal, straight after half time, Gakpo standing on the edge of the box, and your man Savannah, was that his name, is standing literally about 2 feet away from him. And your man goes, and Gakpo's caught on his heels, and that's who scores the goal. You have the same with Gibbs White's goal. Ball comes across. There's 3 of them lined up on the edge of the box waiting for the ball to drop to them. And we've got, I think it was 4 players ahead of them up the pitch. It's simple stuff, and it's I don't want to say schoolboy stuff, like, but it is like, mark your man, get back around. These boys are just hanging around the penalty spot to tap balls in, and we're seeing too many goals that are very, very similar. All ball watching and all being dragged towards the ball. And it's just a ball across the box and a tap in, or whatever, tap in, but free shot and goal. It's very, very basic stuff, and that's worrying. But at the same time, it's possibly explainable by what we've just been talking about. If you're not concentrating, you're not in the right headspace. We've already said loads of times before, if you're even 1 to 2% off your best in this league, you're getting absolutely ran over. That's how high the levels are in the Premier League. And I just think we're a yard short of pace. And it's not, I don't mean physically, I think it's probably mentally. We're a yard too short in a lot of games.
But if you look at the Villa game at home and the Madrid game, all within 4 days of each other, right? And we came out against Villa and we went, we're playing this system, and we know how Villa play. We all talked about it, and this is what we're going to do, right? And we kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, and we beat Villa. Real Madrid, we go out, we know what way they're going to play, and we kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, and we won the game 1-0, right? And we drop back when we get 1-0, as the game progresses. That's just natural. But when you watch things like yesterday, we go out and we know we're going to have a lot of the ball, right? And we go and do our thing, and we try to. But when we're playing against Villa and Madrid and we're doing what we want to do, it's successful, isn't it? We're stopping them getting near our goal. We're stopping them getting chances. We're winning the ball back. We're creating for ourselves. But when we're watching against Forest there yesterday, we're getting up the pitch. And we're trying the same thing, and we're trying to keep the ball, and we're trying to be extra careful with it, and it's not working, and we keep doing it. Honestly, if Arne Slot said to the team tomorrow, listen, Gravenberch, when you get the ball in the midfield, I want you to turn. I want Salah just to make a run behind the defender, and you're going to clip it in the air, and he's going to volley it across the goal, and we're going to get a chance. I'd ask him to do it 100 times a game because it's working, it's successful. But what we seem to do is we seem to get to a certain part, and then we look at it and go, oh, just keep it, and that's not working, right? When we lose the ball, we get it, we got it back, and then we just do the exact same thing again, where teams just go, fine, that's absolutely fine, because we know what you're going to do now. The variety is not there. Like Alexander Isak wants the ball in the fucking box, right? He wants it in the box. He's not an idiot. He can play football, he can interact with other players, and he can interchange and stuff like that. But essentially, Alexander Isak wants the fucking ball across the box to go and attack. I'm not saying like in a Niall Quinn fucking, big Olivier Giroud sort of fucking way where put it in there and I'll head it sort of. But he needs balls to attack, to get after. And what we done was we just literally played in this half circle around Forest yesterday with Alexander Isak standing up front going, we putting the ball in here? Are you going to put it in? No? And then Forrest just went.
He didn't even show up on the heat map of the players. If you look, there's a heat map doing the rounds of all the passes, who passed to who and all. And Isak is up the top, number 9, on his own with no passes going to him. We just did not play to his strengths. There was several times yesterday. And like I said, Szoboszlai is probably our most creative player. He's our best player this season so far. But he burst forward and then he just stops about 4 yards short of the 18-yard box. And it's like, There's no movement from any of them, including Isaac. So I'm not absolving him of blame at all. But we're holding on to it too long. We're not moving the ball quick enough. In order to break down a low block, you need to stretch them quickly across the pitch. You find a gap and it goes in the gap for Isaac. But we just weren't doing that. It's all too pedestrian for my liking. And I know we don't want to be heavy metal football because that brings its own kind of jeopardy where you lose the ball and then you don't get back around. But when we're doing that now, but we're not. We're moving at such a slow pace that it's hard to go up through the gears to get back around and defend. Whereas if you're moving at pace, it's very easy to turn at pace and get back around if you lose the ball. But we're just doing everything is just in front of the opposition. And then when you lose the ball, you're goosed. And that's what it is. It's two at the back always. So he needs to change something up. You said it a couple of weeks ago, Gav, about Gravenberch staying or even those two sitting, and that's it. And you've got that kind of box in the midfield. But it's just, surely if we can see it, as like you say, three idiots on the internet talking about football that really aren't qualified for this, surely the experts see this. Surely it shows up on the fucking iPad on the bench in the middle of a game. Like, if we can see it, they can see it. Their feed on the bench is the same feed as we get, I'm assuming, at home. Their Sky Sports or whatever it is. Surely they can, if we can see it, they can see it. And that's the worrying thing, is that it's not changing. Or it's like the first 30 minutes yesterday, I thought, oh, here we go. International break is out of the way. We're back. They were pressing. The Gakpo was getting along the byline. The ball was coming in. McAllister had his chance and your man was on the line. And I thought, this is it. We're going to absolutely smash these. And then it just, boom, it drops for a few minutes and they get their goal. Yeah. And then we completely going in ourselves.
Yeah. And like we talked an awful lot about the slot there, Keith. But the players themselves, like, you know, I've seen the word scapegoat being used quite a bit in the chat there, and you know, it can be easy at times to go, right, you know, Kanate's a scapegoat or Jones is a scapegoat, Salah, whoever you want to be. But like the thing for me is that when you could nearly pick 7 or 8 players from that game yesterday, possibly more than that when you add in subs, when you can pick that in, I don't think it's a scapegoat thing. I think, you know, James Stevens is there, mentally weak. You know, it seems to me that there's so many players, right, are just not themselves and not putting that in that extra yard and not doing that press and not getting back around and not just being clever and being tuned in to what they do. You know, because we've seen so many times Liverpool playing, they'll go and press it life out of a team and it'd be like bananas, like, you know, for 15 minutes we get a goal or two here, and then there's other times where we just sit off and let them have it, and then we'll fucking hit them on the break. But we never get caught in that halfway house where we don't go, or we, you know. But I look at this Liverpool team and we go, we're getting constantly caught in the halfway house here, because it's like, I'm out of position. Fuck, I haven't switched on here, so now I can't go full press and I can't drop off completely. We seem to be just, so many of them, Keith, seem to be just, like I said, halfway house where you're not doing one thing or the other.
Yeah, it's frustrating because, Slot takes his share of the blame, but the players on the pitch, you know what I mean, are league-winning players. People can say, well, they're not all league-winning players. The lads who I think have dropped off are the lads who are there, where they are there, you know, stalwarts from last year, and it's really difficult. We're a team that are too predictable. We're a team that we're caught between attack and defence, and we're in no man's land on fucking both of them. We seem to have switched. Gravenberch is now much more attacking this year than he was last year. McAllister looks like he's pushed up a lot further as well. It's just that there's no structure in the team. We look like we bought players to play much more attacking, fluid football, and we're not playing attacking, fluid football. And it's something that, you know, when we get all the players back, we need to start he needs to pick the system he wants to play and pick the best players he can in it. And if they're not performing, he needs to take the players out. So as we said before, 4-2-3-1 looked like what we were going to do. We were going to go with Florian Wirtz in as a number 10 with wide players either side of him, a striker in front of him, two sitting midfielders in behind them. On paper, that looks perfect for what we have and what we're going to do. It took a while to adapt. We had a keeper was out injured, didn't help. We were putting in Isaac didn't get the start, and then we were shoehorning him in, and we just were making silly decisions. As the season goes on, then, like I said, we're not focusing on the defensive side of it. We're not focusing on cutting out the attacks before they happen. Yesterday, Ibu gives that corner away in the fourth goal from, I think, the halfway line, just goes back and just hits one out. It goes out. We're not switched on at all. Last year, before they won the league, the players are focused, they're tuned in, they're 100% commitment, dedication. This is what we're going to do. We're going to win every tackle. We're going to win every second ball. We're going to win everything, and we're going to run. As was said, that little drop off is what's killing them, because they're not doing it. And it's not a drop off by one player. It's a drop off by probably six big players, maybe more. It's a drop off by really important leaders in that squad. And that's hampering the lads who are there. Kerkez gets lashed out all the time. He hasn't been great. But he's a new player coming into a new system and is playing in a different way than he played previously. So it's really hard on him to have to come into that. You know, if you buy a player like him, you have to play him in the way he plays. Frimpong comes in as a right back. We don't see him much of as a right back. We see him as a winger. Doesn't look like it's a bleeding. He's not a creative winger. It's just we're trying to shoehorn too many players into the team now, and it's impacting how we're attacking. It's impacting how we're defending, and we're just not midfielding. You know what I mean? We're just not midfielding. It's Szoboszlai is just running, and I think is covering a multitude of sins for other midfielders. I think the work he's doing is covering for a lot of what's happening around them, and it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. We can't go on like this because.
But this is my argument, Keith. We're not. I think something is sustainable if you're putting it into practice in the correct manner.
Oh yeah.
But when like you've talked.
What are we trying to do?
But this is what I'm saying. You've talked about Wirtz there and wide men and a forward up front and two lads behind him and what you do with the fullbacks up to yourself. And we spoke really early in the season where, you know, or even when, not really early, when we were starting to lose form, we were talking about the two centre-backs and the two centre midfielders being a real box where they control everything in the sense of who goes forward when we get broke on. These four, you know, are going to hold play, whatever it might be. And we're not seeing that. What I'm seeing from the Liverpool team is if you're putting that team in place that you're talking about, they should be going after teams and saying, right, you're not getting out. And if you get out, we're going to win it. And then, or we're going to say, do you know what? If you break the press, we're going to break up all this to get back behind the ball and sit and wait. And when we win it, you're in fucking trouble.
But we only have Szoboszlai doing that.
But this is what I'm saying. So what we end up with is a disjointed midfield. Is a fullback going? Is a fullback not? Even off the ball, is the fullback going to press? Is he not? Is the other one staying back? Are the two lads in midfield, are they staying close together and making sure they're tight? Or is one pushing? It doesn't seem to look like, you know, when you watch a game and you can constantly see the same patterns from, especially a team off a ball. When you see, oh, there they go again. There they go again. And we don't see that from Liverpool. It's like, oh, he's doing that now, is he? And that's either application, right, or coaching. It's either one or the other. Yeah. And I would argue in this one, it's application. Because the amount of goals we can see it's not where you go, oh, he's coached them to fucking stand there and look at that ball like that. Do you know what I mean? It's the application, and it's just that it's nearly like our hunger's gone out of them. And I'm not saying it's because they won the league, or you could say it's because they won the league, or you could say it's because of the grief they're going through. But Liverpool teams of the last 10 years anyway had a hunger in them where you weren't running away from them easy. You weren't getting behind them easy. You weren't getting shots off easy. They made it hard for you. No matter what you wanted to do. You know, it's...
Well, too easy to play against now.
Do you think the players trust
on and off the ball?
Yeah, because of that application. It's not there. Sorry, Emma. What? Yeah.
I was just saying, do you think the players trust each other yet? So the team of last year would have played together for a couple of years. and all know nearly. We've spoken about it last year. It's nearly like telepathy, but it's kind of like, is there a doubt? Is there a, I don't know what he's going to do. I like last year, even with Trent, you'd know where Trent's putting the ball, and you're making your way there. Now it's like, I'm not even 100% sure where this fella's gonna bring, and I'm not talking about Verts or anything like that. It's like, I'm not sure what run Isaac is gonna make. I'm not sure what run Ekatike is gonna make, and then there's a hesitance to play that ball for, like what you said earlier on, Gav.
Yeah, but
If we give it away,
that comes down to training and coaching.
No, yeah, but we're not getting a good run at the same players playing together.
Yeah, but when we do, we go 1-0 down and we take a centre fucking back off and we start throwing all sorts of. So what? Are we like the only rationale for that is that what we done during the week was, right, on Thursday when we were training, right, we pretended we were 1-0 down and we took Canate off and we threw this on and we trained for a good hour and a half on this and we went through it, drilled them into them what we're going to do. But it's definitely not being done. And if it is being drilled into them, the application isn't there then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, you break glass at different times of games because of, you might go down to 10 men, or they might go down to 10 men, or you're a goal down, and you might have a plan where you've worked on something a little bit. But this is becoming a constant, where the centre half comes off, you drop a fella in, you put him on, and I'm yet to see it work. So
I just think over the last while, Van Dijk has looked a little distracted while playing with Kerkez, like he has to babysit him. Whereas when Robertson came in for the couple of games, he just seemed a lot more at ease, more confident. But it's I don't know whether it's Kerkez because he's too unpredictable. I think he was occupying an awful lot of the space on Gakpo yesterday. It's like the communication, not the communication between them, but it's like them pair are still trying to learn how to play together.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
And Kerkez was very deep at the early part of the season. We all noticed that, and we were saying there's no way he's not being told to. There's no way he's standing back there and everyone going, we haven't told you to do that, but you do that anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And then the funny thing about it was, and listen, Van Dijk looking uncomfortable. I'm not having that for a minute, by the way, because Van Dijk's the captain of this team, and he knows what Kerkez should be doing. And I've seen Van Dijk where he's telling Kerkez to go, push up there, right, which is fine, right? And he pushes up, and then a ball gets played. Kerkez pushes up, and a ball gets played down that channel, and Van Dijk comes over and clears that, and then he has a go off Kerkez. And you're like, well, you're the one fucking telling him to go. So what do you want here? Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. So he's having to talk him through games. He's telling him to
do one thing and then he's moaning when he does it.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is it's kind of like there's no need for that when Robertson's there because they kind of know how each other play. I think Gakpo and Robertson play well together. I never really thought that Robertson and Diaz played well together.
Well, I think they missed Diaz rotten. They missed Diaz. They've now created.
Hold on. They missed Diaz rotten, right? Let's get it fucking right. But last season, when we were going to win the league, but half the people wanted Diaz out the fucking door anyway. It was all like, we're bringing this fella in, Diaz will go. Everyone wanted rid of Diaz. Doesn't score enough goals. Doesn't do enough of this. Doesn't do enough of that. And then when he leaves, he's having a great time in Germany, by all means. But all of a sudden now it's like, well, Diaz never replaced Diaz. Hold on.
Diaz stretches things.
Loads of people wanted Diaz out of the club.
Gives full something to think about, whereas Gakpo and Salah don't. So
but let me tell
unless we're going to put in a Chiesa as a blatant wild card, which we're not going to do.
No, but in this system,
in them wide areas,
in this system, the way we're playing, Diaz doesn't have the impact you think he has, because he can't go out there and be marooned out there on his own and creating everything on his own. He can't be. He's playing at a different pace to everyone fucking else. Diaz was at his most effective when Liverpool, where, like you said, they go and win the ball and bang, they were gone, they were on you. You know what I mean? Or they stretched you wide and he got him one-on-one and he'd go for the byline and he'd come inside. And remember Diaz, when he played, comes inside way too much. We constantly give out about it. Can you not go down his left and clip a ball in? So Diaz is the messiah now. And listen, I'm going to be honest, I would have kept Diaz. Kept Diaz. But Diaz is the messiah now. But last season, all we heard was, Diaz doesn't do enough of this, doesn't do enough of that, goes inside too much, doesn't go outside enough, does he score enough, does he do? And now all of a sudden he's the best thing since sliced bread. Should have been kept, yeah. But listen, let's not pretend.
He wanted to go and we got a good deal for him.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're missing that player because we're too stodgy, we're too prodigy up front on the wings.
So are you saying then, Keith, then you're missing that type of player rather than you were missing?
Yeah,
Diaz
that's
in
what I think.
particular.
But
Yeah.
Diaz in particular as well, because Diaz, would carry a threat to fullbacks. He'd be pushing the team up and he'd be going into positions that would do it. But that type of player, because when we have Salah and we have Gakpo, they're not hitting the boy-line. I know a few times yesterday Gakpo did do, but we're not hitting the boy-line and we're not getting into them central areas. It's too predictable. It's a ball to the edge of the box. It's cutting in to try and get a shot. And when it's not coming off, the defenders are clogging the central areas because they know what they're going to do. And there's no creativity. There's no going around the back. I just think we miss a winger that stretches teams. We don't have them at the moment. Now, I'm not putting all the blame on that because I think it goes
Ashley says there.
Striker, it's every one of them.
Ashley says there, Slot played Diaz as a false nine, and he didn't play out wide. But there's another point. Slot didn't even want him out wide. He played him through the middle. Did he score enough goals through the middle? Possibly not. So we're having all this stuff about Diaz. I'm telling you now, you will be fucking pulling your hair out. Not you, Keith, and sometimes you, Emma, because you're trying to grow it back. But you'd be pulling your hair out at Luis Diaz in this team if he was playing wide. I fucking telling you, because he'd feel like he's out there on his own, trying all to do all these things, losing the ball and going, Diaz losing it again. I'm telling you, because the rest of it is pedestrian. The rest of it is keep the ball and don't lose it and try stuff. Put it in the fucking box. Sure, what's the difference? You play around, you lose it, they attack on you, right? Lose it on their 6-yard line. Don't lose it on 10 yards outside the box. Lose it on the 6-yard line.
We should be scoring goals like their second and third goal. They're the types of chances that you need to create for Isak. You can play differently under Ekatike. Well, although I kind of question that as well, is like, are the players adapting quickly enough to know, right, well, Isak is up top, so this is the way we have to play to suit him, and now he's gone off, or here's Ekatike on, now we have to play a different way because he plays differently.
But Emma,
but then both of them are on the pitch yesterday at the same time.
But if you watch the Premier League, right, it's not like teams cut through other teams constantly in this league. All this league is about is moving the ball quickly. Right, getting runners, a fella makes a run and he's making a run for no reason, decoy runs and everything. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to move players out of position. So when you put a ball in the box, you're giving your striker or your attackers the best opportunity to have the run on them. Right, you don't see where they go bang, 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 cut them through, cut back, knock it in the goal. It's not like that anymore. Teams are much more better set up because teams that have come up have suffered badly from being cut open. So other teams that are from 11 to 15 go, well, we're not having that done to us, right? So that's just not happening. Do you know what I mean? It's and what I think about when I look at Liverpool, I'd much prefer Liverpool, McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Salah, Gakpo. I'd much rather them come inside or get out of their feet and go, I'm just whipping one in the box here. And you know what? If your man if it goes out for a goal kick, so what? Right? If he heads it out for a corner, fine. If he heads it back out, we'll win it. Right? If we get a header on it, might get a goal. I'd much rather they done that than pass. It comes back. We try some little fucking intricate thing and then it breaks and then we're all going, we've done all the way back here. I'm not really arsed. I'd much rather be a bit more, when you say direct, people think you're just lumping it in the box. I'm not. I'm saying don't do the 3 and 4 passes. Just do one and put it in the box. Yeah. Just, and I'm not saying do it all the time. Just have a variety to it, where teams
it's very
are second
predictable
guessing.
at times with us.
Yeah, the predictable thing is there, and it's so, and it's predictable when you're constantly passing it in that fucking half moon shape from the corner of their 18-yard box out to the edge of the centre circle and back into the corner of that 18-yard box.
Can you remember who we slagged for doing that last season?
Was it the John Bosco?
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal did it for large parts of last season.
Yeah.
It was Odegaard over to him, back into Odegaard over there, trying to stretch things. They weren't doing it quick enough, and that's exactly what we're doing now.
But my thing is, if you're moving around like that and you move it quick, what I'm looking for there is I'm looking for us to get one of their defensive midfielders out of position slightly, where I have an avenue to play a pass or even an avenue to cross it beyond them. That's all I'm looking for. Do you know what I mean?
We're not doing it.
Yeah, and I have to go and watch these pricks on fucking Wednesday as well, which doesn't fucking help. Keith fucked off on us. He's had enough. I'd say his computer's just said, no, that's it. I'm off to have cola flavoured Mentos. Look, it's very difficult at the minute. It's a lot of people are frustrated and. But look, next level is in there, and I'm having an argument with him. I'm not going to fall out with the guy. Like, we're just fucking having the argument. That's what it's all about, opinion. But I think one thing I will stick with Van Dijk is you have to stick together in this. I don't want to see any petulance and people having a go off each other. They know they're going to go into training on Monday, and they're going to know that wasn't good enough, and they're going to know I stood still there. I didn't track that. I didn't. They're going to know all this. But
you would think they would know it from the previous
yeah,
5.
I know that. I know, you know, but the manager has to. I think he has to make some hard decisions, and I think he needs to back himself more in the sense of when we go a goal down, back them a little bit more. I think he's transmitting onto the thing that he's panicking, and then they all panic. I think he needs to transmit that. Right, we're 1-0 down. Okay, fine. Right, we're doing well. They've got a goal. We shouldn't have fucking conceded, but we'll keep going. You know. Someone asked a question there. Riddle says, Gav, tactically, why do you think Eze has been such a success, but Wirtz hasn't? Well, Eze is exactly what Arsenal needed. Because Arsenal last season played with 3 defensive midfielders and they couldn't score enough goals from open play. What Eze does is, Eze is in a team where he has got 2 defensive-minded players with legs behind them. And remember, there's 6 players in that Arsenal team that every time they lose the ball, their first thought is, we defend. Right? They're not all defenders, but their first thought is they defend. Their centre halves playing fullback and they all get back. Liverpool aren't like that. But Arsenal are putting the yards in and Liverpool aren't. Last season, Liverpool were putting the yards in and were actually more creative than Arsenal. Do you know? And it's fine margins. Like, I know, like, I think we're about 10 points behind Arsenal, they're in 11 maybe. But the funny thing is, fine margins, if Liverpool find a way to make this work a bit better, you go, fuck, Liverpool are to win them 4 or 5 and they bounce here. Do you know what I mean? Like, that game was a 3-0 game yesterday, and I'm still looking going, but overall, like, we shouldn't be conceding 3, and we should be scoring more. It is fine margins, but it's still very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating at the minute.
Let's not forget as well, City went through a worse spell than this last season.
Yeah, I know that.
I think they lost 9 of 11 or something like that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did an awful time.
And they still turned it around, and they still came back, and they still finished third. So whatever about writing the league off, well, I won't. I know you won't. It gets harder as the weeks go by.
Yeah,
until it's
Liverpool aren't winning the league.
Yeah.
End of story. Because you can't lose 6 league games.
Top 4, top 5 is not beyond them. A run in the Champions League is not beyond them. A run in the FA Cup is not beyond them.
No, I think if I'm being honest now, Liverpool haven't got a fucking cat in hell's chance of winning the Champions League. Haven't got a fucking cat in hell's chance. Because I'm telling you now, a team goes out there against them and says, I'm just going to sit in here and I'm going to wait. And that's what I'm going to do. Because the teams are looking at Liverpool going, they will not turn and run. They will not turn, and they have the running in them, but they just won't do
it. Yeah, but that's up until now. I'm talking about if we turn things around. There's 12 games gone in the season. I'm not saying we're going to go and win the league, but we're not out of, like, there's people predicting that we're going to finish in the bottom half. We could be in a relegation fight. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. We're going to still finish in a Champions League place. We could get a decent run. We might not win the Champions League, but you get a decent run in the Champions League and possibly a decent run in the FA Cup. We will turn things around. It gets harder and harder to believe it as the weeks go by, but the team is full of too many good players to not turn this around. If we were if Arsenal are in our position, they're moaning about Frimpong being injured. They're moaning about Bradley being injured. They're moaning about XYZ being injured. This is the exact same position that we were in last year. Where a lot of our fans are immediate, and rightfully so in some cases, as we've discussed tonight, because of this decisions he's making. But everybody just seems to move to slot. And we're asking the question, why is he making these decisions? He's making this obviously decision because he doesn't have what he would perceive as a right back, or he perceives him as being better than the other right backs that we have. Which I think we agree, just put a fucking right back in there and leave Szoboszlai do what he does. But we have had our fair share of injuries with Alisson out as well. So he it's not probably been easy for him to pick a team. And then you lose Bradley again over international break. You didn't have Wirtz yesterday. I think, I said it at the start, I think playing Isak without a Wirtz or Szoboszlai behind him was probably a waste. He should have probably gone TK. But again, that's on slot. But I think we can turn her around. I think there's far too many good players. I hate not going to compare us to Manchester United, but Manchester United were devoid of probably any good players bar Fernandes, and even at that, he had his moments. There's far too many good players in this team for us not to be able to get results. It will click, and I think we have it in us to go on a run. Where that next win comes from, I don't know yet, and I'm not saying it'll happen straight away. There may be a little bit more pain to get through, but I just think when we get up and running, we'll be fine. I'm not saying we're going to win the league, but I still see us having enough to go and finish in a Champions League spot.
Glenn Boylan says there, the league is gone, but the season is far from over. And I sort of get that. And what Emmet is saying there about the Champions League, it doesn't look like what about the league being gone or the season.
Oh, I think the season's done.
As of now, right?
I think it's done completely.
The FA Cup doesn't come around until January, and the Champions League knockouts don't come around until what, February, March, something like that. So we don't know what position we're going to be in, what state we're going to be in at that stage. At the moment, it looks like we won't win another game. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the reality of where we are now. But ultimately, we will start picking up points. We will get a bit of semblance of form back in. And then you don't know what you get. You know what draws can be coined to you. We've seen a Liverpool team in 2005 win the Champions League that aren't as good as this squad. Do you know what I mean?
We're 3 points off the top four.
But hold on a minute. Yeah, I know where we are. But we seen a team in 2005 win a thing. They weren't as good as this team. But you have to remember, the team in 2005 were drilled within an inch of their lives.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
but
they knew where to be at all times. They never shirked the tackle. They were never out of position. They were constantly fucking watching, making sure we weren't conceding goals, right?
This team will win the Champions League. I'm not saying this iteration of Liverpool
David Campbell says, if the season is done, Slot can't stay. I disagree, right? I think the season is done because I think, we've really good players. We know we have. I think we will pick up plenty of points between now and the end of the season, but I don't think Liverpool win off tap, because I think this season you just have to take it as it was on the first day of the season or before the season kicked off. This could go either way. It's going to be, defiant Liverpool, or it's going to be a team that's really, really suffering, and I think we'll suffer. That's what I think.
I think we'll suffer for the foreseeable. But I do think they'll turn it around. And as you said, by the time these other tournaments come around, I think we could be looking at a different Liverpool. I think that Liverpool team could have won the Champions League last year. They got a tough draw in Paris Saint-Germain, went out on penalties. I think they could have won it. We've got, I would say, better players now than we did last season. They're just not showing it yet. So we brought in Wirtz, we brought in Isak, we brought in Ekitike. We've upgraded our attacking options, and we just haven't clicked yet. I'm not saying this Liverpool will win. You're right about the 2005. They were well drilled to within an inch of their lives. But if come January, February, Liverpool Slot can somehow, or maybe not Slot, if it's someone else, can somehow get this group of players back to focus again and back to doing the basics, because they're not doing the basics. If they get them back doing the basics, there's no reason why they can't go on. If we get our new signings all bedded in and playing, I think this squad, as a low ranking, because they're not going to finish high, well, they're actually doing all right in the Champions League, but depending on how the games go now, teams won't want to play them. They want to play them now.
We've actually been really good in Europe.
But they won't want to play them if they can turn it around. If Liverpool can start to twist it around and get a bit of grit and a bit of hard work and effort in there, teams won't want to play them in the Champions League. But they have to do that. It's easy to say that they can easily do it. It's not necessarily going to happen. At this moment in time, Liverpool don't look like they'll win a game, never mind the tournament or a trophy. But it can all change. And that's what I'm saying. Come February, January, February.
That was my point too. Yeah, I'm not saying we're going to go and do it, but there's still things to play for. So you still need to get your arse into a Champions League spot. You still need to go and play games in the Champions League. You have
Exactly.
an FA Cup to play for as well. So I wouldn't be writing the season off
Yeah.
right now. You may write the title off, but I wouldn't be writing the season off.
I would.
I
I
agree.
think for. I
And
think
you
for.
never do that.
No, but I
Yeah.
think I think for the mindset that the manager and the players and everyone is in, I think it's absolutely fair to go, listen, whatever happens this season happens, and you just take it on the chin. Some people won't. Some people will just demand that, managers go and these players aren't good enough and get rid of it. And, that probably isn't how it'll work out. But I think, look, I'm only speaking for myself. I'm very comfortable no matter what happens to Liverpool this season. That's where I am. Because when I look at this and I look at, and look, they might get rid of a manager. They might do, right? It wouldn't be what I do, but I don't matter. All I'm saying is, when it comes May, if Liverpool are first or second or fucking 10th, I'm absolutely comfortable with where they are this season for the reasons that we said at the very start of the season. And I have to stick by that. You have to, because some things are bigger than football results, although we're in a results business. That's just the way I feel. I'm absolutely comfortable whatever happens. And I don't think you wipe this slate clean. I think there's still some. If this season Liverpool went and finished 8th, 9th or 10th, you kind of go, right, there's mitigating circumstances. But on your report card, there's this still A, B and C, and that's for players and manager. And we have to make a decision on these now, or we have to judge them really harshly into a new season. That's where I am. That's just the way I am. And look, that's just a personal thing. It's not giving up. I'd never give up on Liverpool. Like, I genuinely, if you told me Liverpool were 25 points behind and there was 26 points to play for, I'd still believe Liverpool could do it, because I'm a fucking idiot. Because I just backed them to the very end.
Why don't you
But
believe it now?
because my backing in this Liverpool team isn't about winning games. My backing in this Liverpool team is looking at them and going, they need us for other reasons, and I'm happy for them. I'd much prefer myself, and I'd much prefer everyone to do it, but it's not going to happen because not everyone agrees. I'd much prefer everyone just to back them no matter what, from now to the end of the season. Whatever will be. And that's why I don't believe it. I believe in them in a different way this season. That's just the way I am.
And why do people think we're accepting mediocrity by saying things like that? We're not. It's not like a bad season. It's the situation, the circumstances that the players find themselves in has to be factored into this. Do you know, I wouldn't be accepting mediocrity. I wouldn't be accepting Liverpool being out of a title race in November next season, for example. I don't accept them being out this season, but I think you have to accept that it's different situation this year.
I just want to cut in there just on something somebody said, because somebody said this to me the other day. Grief. Didn't Liverpool win a league the season after Hillsborough? That was far bigger grief. Absolutely not. I don't agree with that, because this is somebody that sat in the changing room with them, in the training ground with them. Were the players affected by Hillsborough? 100% they were, but they didn't really know any of these people personally. So yes, it was massive grief, but not to the levels of this. And I wanted to say this earlier on. Families break up when people are lost in tragic circumstances. You hear it all of the time. Some child loses their life. The parents can't deal with the grief. They end up separating and breaking up. When I was younger, a friend of ours was murdered. We had a gang of friends of about 14 people. And after that day, it was never the same again. Maybe 2 or 3 of us were friends over here and 5 or 6 of them were friends over there, but we were never the same group again. This is massive grief compared to, it's a completely different grief compared to Hillsborough. I'm not downplaying the grief of Hillsborough, but this bloke went to war on the pitch with these lads. They sat beside each other. They went around each other's houses for dinner. They spent time with each other's families. This is completely different for me than the Hillsborough grief that the players would feel. The players probably felt the same grief for Hillsborough as we did as fans. And I did when I was younger. It was awful. But it's not the same grief. I don't know whether people agree with me or not, but
Yeah,
I don't think you can compare the two.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I don't
different
think
type of
it's fair to fucking compare the two. To be fair, look, that's just where I am. I have been since the start of the season, and anyone that knows me or speaks to me privately away from this will tell you that's how I felt about it. And I, you know, like you laugh at me, like in seasons gone by, we go, you fucking Egypt City aren't losing another game, like, you know, and I'd be going, no, we'll do it, you know, and it's just blind optimism sometimes. But I just think when I look at this season, my focus on Liverpool is that manager and them players okay? That's really what it is, and that's why I've said it on the show today. I think he's managing his way out of a job, because he's always going to be questioned from the top regardless, and I think he'd stand on a much steadier footing, and he probably is on a very steady footing with the owners. But I think he'd stand on a much steadier one if he went, look, this is the way it is. I'm going to have to go and play this way, and I'm going to have to pick these players, and I'm going to have to be a little bit more pragmatic, and I'm going to have to dip him in and out because he's not great at all. Do you know what I mean? And we're going to have to literally have a weekly meeting on where these players are between me staff to see who we can play and stuff like that. And maybe that is what's going on. But then I look around thinking, no, your decisions you're making when you go 1-0 down to go, and people said it earlier, is gung-ho playing side to side, which is a fair point. But what I'm saying is, to give that impression that you're going gung-ho by throwing all these players on, that's a separate issue to what the deeper ones we're talking about. And that's just the way I am. Anyway, cola flavoured Mentos.
Ooh.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Never had them before till today.
Any sort of cola flavoured chewy thing. Do you ever get them Mawams and all that?
Oh, yeah. What about Calippo? The cola Calippo was fantastic.
Yeah. Cola, it's an but I'm not really mad into like a can of Coke or anything.
No, hold on, you've lost me now.
No, I'm not.
Because a can of ice cold Coke, which I just had on while I was sitting here, there's nothing better than it. And it has to be a can. The bottles are shit.
Yeah, it does taste different.
Yeah, the cans. So there you go. So if anyone's out there and you're thinking about it, get a cola flavour Mentos. They're sensational.
What's your take on the fruit flavoured Mentos?
They're all right.
I kind of look at them and go, did they all really just taste the same?
Yeah, I think the fruit ones are nice.
Yeah. But the cola.
What I don't like is when they're hard, like, because you expect them to be chewy, and sometimes you'll have.
But you see, you have to take your time.
Yeah.
Now, Red Med said cola cubes were the best. They were unbelievable cola cubes. Oh my Jesus!
I used to love cola cubes.
Remember, you used to get a quarter of Coke, quarter of sweets.
Pear drops.
Yeah, they were all there's two shops. Oh, they're called retro shops now, aren't they?
I'd say the coconut in Drimna, which is owned by
rhubarb and custard, fucking unbelievable as well.
Kevin Moran's parents.
Tesco and all do.
Pick a mix.
Yeah.
Like that. No, you were talking about in the bag.
Tesco do tubs of sweets. I got a thing of apple drops there a couple of weeks ago. The kids transformed their lives and like apple drops.
Satin cushions. Remember satin cushions?
Yes.
With the chocolate in the middle of them.
Yeah, I remember them, Yeah, Jesus Christ. But the cola.
Can I ask, if you're eating your cola bottles, like your Haribo or anything like that, do you put them in your mouth and chew them and eat them? Or do you put them in your mouth and suck them until they're nearly gone?
With a jelly?
Yeah.
Oh, we're like a fizzy cola bottle?
Yeah, or just ordinary cola bottles with no fizz.
Well, I'm not a big fan of ordinary cola bottles. The fizz makes it for me.
So, like, you get a little bit of Haribo, you get a little packet of Haribo or whatever, and you peel the side out and you just throw them into your mouth. The small little packets. Would you chew on the sweets or would you suck on them?
They're paying the whole afterward.
Yeah, I don't suck on jellies. I tend to just eat them.
I suck on them, yeah.
J. Cole 10 LFC IFI, which is definitely not his real name. He says he chews.
The Haribos.
Andrew Gale. Andrea. I'm trying to work out. This is Andrea Galea. Says, see you there, Gav. Big fan of you all. Oh, yeah, I'm going to PSV on Wednesday for me since. Flying out Tuesday morning. Having a lovely time for a couple of days in Liverpool. So, yeah. And I'm waiting on 2 tickets, and part of me doesn't want them to turn up. But no, I do. I'm bringing my daughter, so I definitely want to go. And so, yeah. But yeah, cola kills were cola Mentos. Unbelievable. Marge Apple said you couldn't be chewing those joint cola bottles.
Oh, do you remember the big ones when you were younger?
The fizzy ones.
Out
They
that
have to be
size.
fizzy though.
Harder ones, and you'd
I
have
love
to
the
like,
sour ones. You know the
yeah.
sour sweets with loads of fizz in them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, any sour ones.
Yeah. Fruit salads, great. And the blackjacks.
Postman
loved
Pats.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Postman
blackjacks were
Pats,
brilliant.
strawberry ones.
Wham bars were
Wham bar,
fantastic.
yeah,
Take the
wham
jar
bars.
off you. Yeah, there was so many good ones. Right, lads, we're gonna go. Is there anything else before we go? Is watching I'm a Celebrity get me out of here?
Oh yeah, big fan. Big
Yeah.
fan.
Who do you think should win it, Keith?
Kelly Brook.
Yeah, Keith, I knew you were going to say that.
You know what?
She's getting an awful lot of abuse online, isn't she?
Oh no, yeah, I can't
she?
believe it.
Don't say why, because I've not watched this since Thursday.
Well, it's just because she's put on a bit of weight since her days in FHM or whatever. Fucking.
All joking aside,
Needs something to hold on to.
my wife and kids were in Euro Disney for a few days, and they only came back, so they love I'm a Celebrity. So they were catching up on 4 episodes there tonight. And the young fella, he's only 12, and he's took a liking to Kelly Brook. I've never been as proud of my life as anything. Because usually he might have been looking at it and going, Angry Ginger's all right, or H is all right, you know, he'd like the lads. And I'm like, I like that one. Good lad.
No, so Kelly Brook, in this, and my daughter's been telling me all about it because I don't fucking watch it. But apparently, Kelly Brook, a nation was waiting for her to have a shower in I'm a Celebrity, and she did in a bikini. And she's, when I say a little bit of weight, you know, but she's 45, 46 years of age. She looks fantastic.
Her birthday today.
And everyone was giving out
birthday, Kelly, if you're watching.
If you're watching, yeah. You won't be, but listen, we send her
Come here.
regards.
She knew exactly what she was doing, because they call it the Moyleen Class moment. Do you know who Moyleen Class is? I think she was in a band. She was in the white bikini. But Kelly Brook, I'll send you on the video. Kelly Brook brought over an array of swimsuits, apparently, and she knew what she was doing because she had them screen tested in the shower as to which ones look best. So she knows exactly what she's doing. But yet, don't objectify us.
Yeah. And she looks great, in fairness to her. She does look great. But anyway.
But it is a true thing, isn't it? Like, it's people go on to the jungle, and it's I'm not saying Kelly Brook's looking to kickstart a blatant career or anything like that, but they go on, as Emmet said, they've picked out the bikinis because it's the big sort of selling point.
Everybody's waiting on it.
Everyone waits. There's always one that they're waiting on, and it's like...
My daughter reckons that Angry Ginge and some fella called H, is that his name?
H.
Oh, it's H is his name. It's not
AITCH.
Oh, okay, so it's not the letter H. Well, my daughter reckons...
It is the letter H, but it's H.
My daughter reckons that they will end up having their own show when they come out of this.
Come here, they could have ended up with their own show without I'm a Celebrity, but this will probably fast track it.
Right.
They, like, obviously TikTok, big fan, but they did a lot of fantasy teams, I think it is, and they formed the team, but they would game on live together, and some of the arguments that they would have and the back and forth that they would have, and even your man Luke Littler was on the team. Actually, Rooney was on their team at one stage, and some of the banter between them was absolutely hilarious.
Okay. Right. Well, that's what my daughter reckons. They'll have their own kind of whatever show or whatever it'll be.
They were best mates before going on, like.
Already?
There's another lad called Taze, who's another rapper. He'd be quite funny as well. So he'll probably be on it next year.
Grand. I hope Tipex turns up as well. Anyway, anything else before we go,
Emma? No.
No, all right.
No. I'm glad now we spoke about it, I have to say. I know when we first came on, we were joking about the cola cubes or the cola Mentos and stuff like that. But it is good to talk about it. I'm just glad we didn't have to do what Ashley, Chris and Kev had to do and sit through it and then immediately go on and talk about it. Although I think Ashley did say that doing the watch along allowed them to actually say a lot of the stuff that they probably would have bottled up until the post match. I'm just glad we got a day or so to cool down after it.
Yep. Keith, anything else before we go?
No. Like I said, it's a pain in the bollocks coming on talking about this, but it has to be done, and
Yeah, you take the
we,
rough
we
with the
do it
smooth,
when they're
Keith.
winning. We do it when they're winning, and you just have to do it when they're losing as well. And the sooner Sean Lawson realizes that, the better, and comes out of his self-imposed exile
Yeah.
whenever we lose.
You timed it well. Do you know the way they say, oh, you timed that well, not having the baby.
He's
Good
not
lad,
even in
footballer.
Spain, and his missus isn't even pregnant. It's just
And
that
Yeah,
Liverpool are
doesn't
losing.
even have a missus. You ever see him? Doesn't even have a missus. This fella.
But no, do you know the way they say, like, you timed that well, now getting married in the off season and so that he's timed this brilliantly. Because he's like, he literally told us in the middle of October, lads, I won't be around for a good while because I'm moving and the baby and all. And we're like, yeah, sound. And Liverpool were all right at the time. And then as soon as he got on the plane, it was like, boom, Liverpool are absolute muck. And he doesn't have to do this shit. But he will be back. He will be back. So listen, don't ask me in the next show where Shawnee plays, for the love of Jesus. Anyway, we're going to go. Thanks a million to Emmet. Thanks a million to Keith. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. I've been Gav. And we will be back tomorrow. It's Monday, isn't it? Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be on our Patreon tomorrow doing Reaction Extra, funny enough, to that fucking game. And we will be with you during the week with previews of games and reactions and all the stuff across YouTube and Patreon. If you want to join our Patreon, the link is in the description. You know what to do. Give it a go for a month. If you like it, you do. If you don't, you don't. It's absolutely fine. We've done 2 shows in the last 2 weeks where we've done random shows, totaling close to 3 hours, I think, between both of them, and they were fucking madness. Like,
Keep them
just
going.
stupid stuff. So there you go. Right, that's been it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, 30 minutes of it, and we'll talk to you soon. Over now.